Hey, Winnie. So I had some questions about sourdough. Uh, this is the one I received from Alexandria by my friend's friend. This is Jean-Luc. I think about 10 years old, so it's pretty cool to have that. This is from my dancer friend Solana, unnamed, but just it's amazing. But I never combined sourdough starters before until this year, and the result's been okay. Um, Temperatures have been very tough. I'm having trouble getting them to rise, but here's a couple prepared. It's going to be baked in a little bit. I've been keeping these a lot warmer than I have, so I'm hoping they're going to really puff up. Anyway, here's the process for those that wanted to know. Usually you use water, flour, salt, and sourdough starter. I've gotten into the habit of using banana, so I'm just peeling banana right now. Going to put it in this thing, and pretty soon I'm going to put it in the oven, bake it off for maybe 20-30 minutes. That's going to eliminate and deactivate proteases that will otherwise ruin gluten formation. Yeah? All right. I'll reach back when I'm ready for the next stage. All right, this is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. As you can see, I put it in some parchment paper. That's gonna help keep the steam in. Oh yeah, okay. So I've got a bunch of liquid and fluid in there, and it's all nice and good. So what I do at this point is take a fork, and I just mash. This becomes the base of the sourdough instead of any water. All right, quick note, this little black thing right here, this is something you want to fish out because it won't break up like the rest of it. It's just a hard piece of the banana. So I just set it right here, and don't judge me on how gross this board is here, but it's only bread stuff, so. But yeah, so it's a hard piece that doesn't break up, and you don't really want to bite into that when you take a bite of bread. So as I'm doing this whole thing here, I'm just mixing and looking for that, okay? All right, got that tared out for -6 for some reason. And let's see what you got here. All right, $5.90, not bad. King Arthur bread flour. It is the industry standard for high quality baking. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay, there we go. Let's see how much this bad boy is. That seems about right to start. All right, got it sort of mixed in. It's looking really stiff. I'm not too happy with that. Jean-Luc going in. Don't care about measuring, not really my style. That's good enough. The other one, Solana's mix. That's sort of what that looks like. Yep. All right, just try to get that one out of your minds, and because it's super, super gross. Here's how it looks on the counter. Best way to knead it. You can see it's like the flour isn't absorbed yet, so that's very, very typical. Also, I didn't show, but I added salt too, just because there's a good amount of salt in here too. All right, that's how it looks after the mixing stage. It isn't kneaded yet, but it's just mixed. As you can see, if I were to, I'll use the other finger. If I were to do this, much more residue, the gluten is weak, and it's not holding together. And this is where I let it rest for like 20 minutes, because now it's gotta rest. Let's see if we can refocus. But this is basically what I'm doing to knead it. Fold, and I'm rolling and pushing. I'm trying to get the whole mass to basically rub against itself, and I'm sliding it using the pressure of the countertop to help get the flour in contact with the water, the salt, and not the water, but the banana, and basically break up the banana bits. So that is the mixing section. It's pretty dry. This is a pretty dry dough. So I'm not sure I'll be able to do the next stage, which is the slap and fold. We'll see. Don't judge my oven. It's gross, I know that. I've got it set to 500. Here's a pot of boiling water, which we're gonna need because in here, got the stone, which is gonna be on. There's a pan underneath where the hot water is gonna go to create a bunch of steam, which is completely necessary. While this is resting, I'm gonna put this guy in the oven. This is called a banneton. It dries out the outer layer, and that's what helps create a really nice crust. I'm gonna put it on this thing, and I'm gonna use that to slide it into the oven. So this may be a longer segment of this whole shebang, but taking this, no flour on here, and just like that, and I'm hoping it comes out. Sometimes it doesn't. Looks like this one's not coming out without a fight, and that could mean that the banneton wasn't floured properly. Don't do this to me. Sometimes a little TLC is all it needs, and hopefully it doesn't rip. No rips. All right, so here's what it looks like. I got that nice edge. It looks like this is where it got caught right there, but that's gonna be totally fine. Got all this extra flour, we gotta deal with that. So I just go around and I brush it off a little bit. Especially this is gonna be really kind of gnarly if it bakes like that. So you want a lot of moisture to help develop a good crust. And typically I would have some kind of spray bottle, but I don't have that right here. So what I've started to do is just use a paper towel, get it a little bit wet. And then I sort of throw it on top like this and kind of just dampen the outer layer a little bit. It's kind of a hard balance because I don't want to like screw up the crust and I don't want to like get it too wet. All right, that looks good. There'll be a little bit of schmutz when it comes out of the oven, a little bit of non-moistened bits, but I'm gonna give it a shot, see how much I like that. The last thing that's really necessary here before it goes in the oven is, don't cut yourself, Jeremy, don't cut yourself. This is called a lom, and it's nothing more than just a razor blade attached on a thing that's got a curved edge. We're gonna score it. Scoring is when you make those cuts. Now the rule of thumb is you have it into 2/3 or 3/3, 1, 2, 3. You never want to really cut on the outside. You really want to keep it in that middle third. So I'm going to do my best to do that, but I'm not good at this. Oh God, I'm glad I'm not in surgery. Okay. So that's not too bad. These tips should just overlap a tiny bit. What this is going to do is the bread is going to open up and you're going to get that, what they call an ear. So, oh my God, I hope that this works. I'm going to pop this in the oven now and I'll give you a bit of an update. All right, this has had a chance to rest now. I'm going to flip it out, and here's what I'm going to do. If it's still really dry, so what I'm thinking of doing is adding water as I go, because I want it to be a little bit more hydrated. But that little resting period, just to go back a second, is really useful because it lets the wheat, the flour, absorb the moisture. And once that can take place, that's when the two gluten components, I forget what they are, that's when they can come together. So this is really sort of on the dryish side, which is all right. But I'm just going to do one little thing. This could be disastrous, but we're going to find out. A tiny bit of water. It can be added. In fact, I think this is more of a contemporary method where bakers are starting to do this to help increase the hydration levels. The difficulty with the hydration is getting it is getting good gluten development at the same time. The higher the hydration, the more difficult gluten formation is. So I don't know how much water I'm going to add, but what I'm showing you now is the actual kneading. We went through the mixing, but now I'm going to try to get you the kneading portion. But I need it to be a little bit more wet to do that. You're going to see it get very sticky as I incorporate more and more water. I'm going to try not to make this too long and too boring, because I want to show you the kneading technique. It's a French kneading technique called the slap and fold, and it is a hands-done method that in traditional French baking schools, it must be done about 800 times for it to be fully kneaded. That's the idea. So I'm just gonna do more mixing with this water. I think we're pretty much there. Here we go, about the 20-minute mark. This is sort of what it looks like. You can see it okay, nice and big. If you can see through that horribleness. That's almost ready for stage 2. This is probably pretty good. So I'm gonna show you, it's slapping and folding really well. So I'm gonna show you that, and then I'm gonna put it in the bulk ferment stage. This little godsend here helps me a lot. This eliminates the use of extra flour, releases it from the board, and I can do that. So super elastic now, you can see. This is the final stage of the kneading. There we go. And just like that. All right, I'm not too proud of this, but I think I burnt it. It's a little dark, not gonna lie, it's a little dark. But let's get this baby out of here. Yep, there she is. All right, not looking too bad. And too bad, just really, really caramelized. So that's what the ear is. I'm not great at doing these, so I'm very happy with how it all turned out. Basic test, you tap it. For size reference for how much you can expect it to rise, this is the bowl it came in. Yep. And that's sort of what it looks like. Keep in mind that it was all inside this space, so that it's really, really done a good job. Maybe 1.5 or 1.75 times the rise. Yeah, burnt as hell. All right, but the reason I left it in as long as I did is because I was worried about the inside getting cooked. And it's something I'm getting better at, but learning to control how the crust develops versus how the inside bakes. All right, what you can sometimes do is hear the bread singing to you, and that's the crust breaking and cracking. And that's a really good sign. Let's see. Absolutely not singing whatsoever. All right, but yeah, that's the thing. So that's your sourdough thing. I'm gonna give this to a friend, and later today, actually in about maybe an hour, this guy, I'm gonna go through the same process. And this one is a whole week because I ran out of this stuff when I made this dough. So yeah, there you go. Sourdough, made with banana. Yeah, oh, I didn't even really mention, that started off exactly like how we made this dough. So just to give you an idea of what you can do with substituting water for bread. All right, bye.